Hello and welcome to episode 1 of From the Writer's Desk. It is Monday, October the 13th when I'm recording this. I'm hoping to get this up later today, but who knows. It has been a pretty nice autumn day, to be honest. The sun is just going in now. Darkness is coming for us as it comes for us all. And I just thought I would sit down with you and just talk about what's been going on this week, like a week of a writer, what's some of the big kind of major things that have happened in the past week, a bit of a writing update, a bit of an update of what's coming up on the channel and what's coming up next week in just a more sort of casual, relaxed manner. A guy that I follow on here, his name is James. He's been doing videos which is a bit more casual. He has a cup of tea, and I just felt, you know what? I think that would be nice. I think it would be nice to just chat to a camera, you behind the camera, and just talk about my week as a writer and what I've got going on and what I've got coming up and what I'm planning and all of these things. And so, this is going to be, it's not going to be something that's going to be like super heavily edited and fast paced. It's going to be casual. It's going to be relaxed. And I'm hoping to just invite you into my office here, to my desk, and to just sort of tell you about what's going on. And the cup of tea is an actual cup of tea. I can take a sip of it. It's not just a prop, although I feel very conscious of the fact that it's currently in my hand and weighing me down. So I'm gonna put it down, and maybe we'll take some sips of that as we go, and maybe we won't. But I want to start with, what are we starting with? We're starting with a bit of a life update. So last week was a big week. You might be able to see these behind me. So I've spent much of this year, a big chunk of this year, doing publishing my first self-published book. And it is a collection of short stories that I wrote throughout probably my mid-20s to my early 30s. And I was never really going to do this. I don't know if you write short stories. I like to write short stories. And I had a bunch of short stories that I'd written that I'd submitted quite a bit, and for a while I had this thing of like, if it gets rejected 5 times, if it gets rejected a certain amount of times, I just take it out of circulation. It goes in this thing called the trunk, right? So I had this file on my computer, which I called the trunk, and that's where all of these kind of rejected stories would go, right? The island of lost stories. So they go in there, and I shut them away, and maybe I would do something again with them someday. But then I started making these videos, and I came back online, and I'm like, all right, I feel like I should do something with these stories. And so I dusted them off. I started editing them. I started looking at them again. And then I decided I would self-publish a collection. And then I didn't stop there. So I decided initially I was going to write an introduction for each, because they are fairly short. Like, I never usually write stories that are more than kind of 4,000-5,000 words long. So then I started to realize, there are some sort of thematic similarities here. So I did these little interludes, and that grew into its own thing, which kind of moves through the book. And then we have a book-sized thing. It's a small book, but it is a book, and it is my book. And, you see your name on something, you get a printed book, and it feels great. I'm not going to lie. But it was a ton of work. It was a ton of work. I did all the design work myself. I did the typesetting myself. I edited it myself. I proofed it. No one else had any hand in anything here. And would I recommend that? It depends really what you want. For me, part of the reason that I did this was not just to have a book out that people could buy, but really to learn this whole process, to learn how to typeset, to learn how to put a book together. And now it is out in the world and people can buy it. The thing I'm struggling with now, and I think probably most artists will feel the same way, is that now that you have got it out there, you've made it, it's for sale, now you have to kind of promote it. And that, I think, is the thing that like all creatives find really, really hard. I've got a friend who's a musician, and he struggles with this so much, because he plays his music, he makes his albums, and he's like, yeah, you've got to be on social media, but he doesn't want to. His hero, his idol is like Bob Dylan, right? And it's just like, would Bob Dylan be making TikToks? I don't know that he would, but in the modern day, it feels like that's part of the thing that you've got to do. And so now I'm just kind of toying with, all right, I've got it. How do I promote it? So if you've got any ideas about that, then please let me know. But that really is the major thing that's gone on this week. So if you do want to buy it, if you're interested in it, I don't make any money off that, by the way. I put it on Amazon for the cheapest price they would possibly let me put it. So I think I make less than a British pound on each copy. For me, it's not really about that. I just wanted as many people to get it as possible. And I wanted my book on the shelf next to other authors that I admire. So that's why I did it. So if you're interested in speculative fiction, probably with a darker edge, then go ahead and check it out. This is also, by the way, it's pretty autobiographical. A lot of it is about my life and growing up. And I think if there was one theme in it, it's that transition from childhood into adulthood, and how we have to kind of fight against the pull of nostalgia and the way things were. And we have to start taking a bit of kind of responsibility for ourselves, and how that's a kind of terrifying thing to do at first. So I guess that's thematically, maybe if you wanted a theme, that's what it's about. But the next part of this video is a bit of a writing update. And I'm going to take you to the computer for that, because you will see that I started this year with the best of intentions and some very dramatic writing goals. And then, as often happens, I get distracted with this. And before you know it, it's fucking October and we're up shit creek. So let's go to the computer here. You can see that these were my goals for 2025. I wanted to write 100,000 words. I wanted to write 2 novels. It's like 50,000 word novel, roughly. I wanted to write 10 short stories, and I wanted to. I was aiming for 100 rejections. This has been lowered to 20 because we're not going to get there now, because rejections are like a cumulative thing. So we want to get to 20, and so obviously I was distracted with getting the book out, and honestly, the majority of this stuff was done January, February, the start of this year, and so we're kind of in a place where we need to get going with this. Now, I do have a plan. I do have a plan to kind of get through this. The novels in particular. So I've written sort of almost half of one. I mean, it's garbage. It's just so bad, but it's words. And I've written almost half of one. And I'm thinking I'm going to do NaNoWriMo this year. Even though that's now, as an organization, they have closed down, but its spirit lives on. And I've got a video coming up in a few weeks about that. But in any case, I was thinking of doing NaNoWriMo this year, and I was actually thinking of live streaming it on the channel. So if that's something that interests you, then maybe we could do it together. So comment, subscribe, all of that sort of stuff. So that's my plan for the novel. Is if I can whack that out in November, then this doesn't add up. As I'm saying it out loud, I'm realizing it doesn't add up. Then I've got like December to write 25% of the other one, which might not happen. But you know what? 1.5 ain't bad. So that's that. The short stories, here's what I think the problem is with the short stories. So the problem is you have an idea, right? You have an idea for a short story, and I'll show you some of my current projects. These are mainly the short stories. Amelia is the novel, and then these are the ones I've kind of written first drafts, but I haven't really done anything with them. And Endling, this is a new one that I've just started. Now, the problem is you have an idea, and you get attached to ideas, right? You get a bit precious about ideas, and what happens is, especially this one, New Ownership, I really loved the idea behind it, and I've become really attached to it, and I did a pretty bad first draft, and I'm trying to rewrite it, and the problem is I've got such a strong feeling about the idea, and I just think the story should be really, really good, that it becomes quite difficult to attack it, because you're always falling short a bit. You become a bit precious about the idea, which is kind of the worst thing that you can do. And so my plan for the short stories is to try and get one done a week. Have we got 10 weeks left? Let's work that out now. No. I think we don't need 10 weeks left. We don't need 10 weeks because we've already done 4. Nope, we've already done 3. We've got another one on the go. We only need 7 weeks. We do have 7 weeks left. So here's my plan. I'm going to do one a week. I'm going to do it in one session. And I'm also going to live stream that. So that's going to be the last part of this video. We're going to generate a prompt, right? I've written a prompt generator so that we can generate a prompt for a story. So I'm not precious about it. I can have a bit of a think about it in the week, and then we're going to write that down. And then so that's how we're going to tackle the short story thing. Because you can see this month, I've written a grand total of 475 words, and that was a few days ago on Saturday. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. It's not great, and so we need to get our shit together, get our stuff in gear, and attack it. And that's also part of the reason for these videos as well. These updates, keep myself accountable, and make sure we try and hit as many of these goals as we can. So that's the writing update. We will move on to the final bit now, which is just the prompt. So I wrote this very, very simple prompt generator for my terminal, and we're gonna. If you want to, are you interested in how it works? Should I tell you briefly how it works? Here's how it works. It crawls Wikipedia for a random article, and then it uses some like OpenAI APIs to then basically scan that article for a sentence that it thinks is of some literary merit. I've done this a few times. It works quite well, but also kind of hilariously wrong sometimes. But also that can be exciting. The whole point of this is not to generate an amazing prompt, but to just, even if it's a difficult one, to spark something in me that will make me write a story. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So all I have to do is type in prompt gen, and it's going to give me something. Let's see what we get. So it says, by 1962, the hospital had an average of 158 patients every day within the facility, and space was becoming an issue. That's not a bad one. I'm actually happy with that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a think about that over the next couple of days. And I'm going to do a 4-hour live stream where I'm going to write this story live. It's going to be on Saturday, which will be the 16th. Is Saturday going to be the 16th? No. Saturday's going to be the 18th. So it's going to be Saturday the 18th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. British time. So if you feel like seeing me struggle through this, then come along. And or maybe I invite you to use this prompt as well, and you can write a story too. So that is where we are. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to do these every week, whether you did or not, because it's really, really helpful for me. And I'm kind of keeping myself on track, and I hope that people will be interested. But if not, it's useful. I recommend you do the same. If you tune in on this Wednesday, I'm going to make a video about. I don't know if you've seen this book, Alchemized. It's everywhere at the moment. It's completely sold out. It's based on some like Harry Potter fan fiction. This isn't really my genre. It's not really for me, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff online. I have a lot of very, very strong thoughts, weirdly, about it and about fan fiction and about all that sort of stuff. So, join in on Wednesday there, and I'm going to be ranting about that. And then if not, I'll see you next week for another one of these. So don't forget to subscribe and like and all that jazz. And let me know in the comments. Writers, let me know in the comments. What's your week been like? What have you been working on? What have you got coming up? What are some big dates in your calendar? I'd love to hear about them in the comments. But that has been From the Writer's Desk, episode 1, and I hope to see you for the next episode.